Greetings, friends. Reformed Stoic, back with another video. So, I got a bloomer video coming up here pretty soon, but let's go ahead and get this one out first. When you realize that they don't love you. Maybe a common experience, definitely a common experience. I don't know if it was your experience, but this one's for people. It's for a lot of people. You don't have to have had the same experience that I had, but the way it went down for me is I became a part of a party scene in my hometown. And, I come across people online like, oh, I never went to parties. And you become a part of a large group of acquaintances. And you have moments where you feel like maybe a lot of these people are your friends. And there's different levels of closeness within the group at different times. But there can be certain times fueled by partying, alcohol, drugs. I never got too deep into things outside of drinking and weed, but, I dabbled a little bit. You can get to a point where you feel like this very large group of people is your friends. But a common experience for a combination of, on one hand, being just different, living a kind of a different experience than the norm in the group. I just went over my hometown a little bit in my last video. I was a bit of an outsider since going to music school, where a lot of people I grew up with went on to just be fishermen. You start to... I didn't just then start to encounter disrespect. There was disrespect from certain people in this group ever since joining the group. I was always a little bit of an outsider, because on one hand, living a different life, and on the other hand, not being Chad, People want to make sure it's clear to you that you're not in the upper echelons of this group. But depending on how you were raised or how you are inherently, you try to just make things right, Oh, so-and-so is criticizing me, or there's something wrong with me, which is causing these people to put me down sometimes. So I'll just try to do better, try to make it better, try to fix it. But you get to a point where you realize these people don't really love me. These people don't really like me. And it can take quite a while for certain kind of people. Ways I would describe how I used to be: unassuming, naive. It's a very common description of what people online would call the chosen ones, friendly, unassuming. A common thing when I look back on my life is I regretted not standing up for myself more. But as more time went on, I realized, actually, even though I didn't feel right on the inside about how I handled things, I actually handled things perfectly. These people are trying to set you up. They're trying to put you down. They're trying to manipulate you. And I was naive, unassuming. And it's like, oh man, I got to do better because these people don't respect me like they do everybody else. But you get to a point in your development. I think what really kind of helped me finally deal with this was that things fell apart for me in Boston. I was starting a new life in Vegas, and right out the gate, I wasn't feeling great about it. I was feeling like the part of my life where exciting things were possible had come to a close. At least that's how I felt initially. And I started to, because I feel like I was kind of just distracted with things I had going on in my life when I lived in Boston. And though from time to time I saw hints of this group not really accepting me, I was just not really paying close enough attention. But I got to a point where it became clear to me this is not something that I can control. This is not something that I can fix. These people don't have love for me like they have love for each other. There's a couple of key figures in this group who they can do no wrong. It doesn't matter if they get drunk and miss jobs and blow it and break into people's houses and steal people's cars. This particular person I'm thinking of, he told me, I didn't even realize it for a while, but he told me when I was sleeping at my house, him and somebody else, they took my car and they went joyriding and, they got a kick out of it. I was at a party and I went home and uninvited. He shows up at my house drunk and I wake up to my parents telling me, oh yeah, so-and-so pissed all over the bathroom. And you just realize that these people don't really respect you, and it hurts, man, because all the years that you kind of put up with this abuse, that you put up with this kind of just like little nagging and these people kind of like gatekeeping your self-esteem, you wanted them to like you. You wanted to think they were your friends. And ultimately, this can only happen to people who don't have sharp boundaries from a young age. But you finally get to that point. For me, it was around the age of 23, 24, where you're ready to confront it. It's not so much even that you're ready to confront it, it's that you realize there's something to confront. It's like, these people aren't really my friends. These people are tolerating me like it's some sort of a reward. And it's so frustrating to me because I've heard this so much from kind of a different perspective of people on the internet. Kind of this like, they were just tolerating me. Like you still wish they would have accepted you, You don't see it the way that I do now. Because now, after this time in my life I'm referring to, 23, 24, over 10 years ago. Just over 10 years ago for me. I have grown to a point where I do not regret that I lost these people. There's not a part of me that wishes I would have been able to win their acceptance. I see what it was so clearly now that I realize that everything happened exactly as it was meant to happen. Now, I've mentioned in a lot of videos, the Sam Hyde video, cutting out toxic people. There's a way to go about when you realize these people are not your friends to tread carefully and to back out silently. But what's going to happen, probably, is that there's going to be some strong resentment. And you're going to want to lash out at these people. And I can tell you for me, the second there was a shift, the second I stopped trying to make things right, they're in this high position talking down at me and I'm thinking, oh, how can I make it right? How can I do better? How can I win these people's acceptance? As soon as it got to a point where it's like, you know what? You're full of shit and fuck you. And you know what? You say this about me? I noticed this about you. The second that it got to that level, these people went to fucking work. Like, oh no, he's awake. Let's take him down. They go straight for the reputation. They go straight for the public shaming. And what's going to happen is you're not ready for it. You're not going to be ready for this battle. Because I think the nature of the chosen one is, like I said, unassuming, easygoing, friendly, naive. You're not stupid. you're not stupid. And you're going to go on to realize you're really not stupid. You're quite the opposite. It's part of the problem. They saw your potential. They saw what you were about. And they didn't want to have you in their friend group. Eventually what it became is like, yeah, I don't really see this guy as a good friend, but I want to stay close and make sure this guy realizes his role, because unconsciously they could realize that you're maybe meant for a higher role, a different role, a role where you realize that these people are actually not above you, they're far, far, far beneath you, and there's no reason that you would want to be around them. There's going to be a struggle because, you were naive. Nothing wrong with being naive, You must be like a child to enter into the kingdom of heaven, is what Jesus said. I believe that's the nature of the chosen ones. Childlike, unassuming, other people, the wicked ones. Early on, they learned about social manipulation, social status, social standing. Okay, I need to make sure, bully this person, bully that person, suck up to that person, and then maybe someday I'll be on their level and I can stab them on the back. Okay, that is their gift. That is their gift, is they learn about scheming early. And you are going to take a fucking beating from these people early on. A little story is that these two guys that I used to rap with, I just put this together like the last few days. There was an incident where we were hanging out, smoking weed, I think like rapping a little bit. This is when I was like 16, 17, like the first year that I started smoking. One of these guys in the rap group, he's this little fucking tank, he's 5'5", 5'6", but he could bench press like 250 pounds. He was a tough little fucking dude. Actually, one time when he was really drunk, I got the better of him. But this particular time was the first time that we wrestled, and he took me completely off guard. I was really bad at being stoned. I can tell you what, really bad at being stoned, man. There's a couple of instances I lost in wrestling to people that I probably shouldn't have when I was fucking baked out of my mind. But we're just hanging out, and he's like, yo, what's up, Jake? What's up? He just randomly starts pushing me, and I'm fucking confused. And I stand up, and he fucking single legs me, slams me on the bed, and he's just like slamming me on this bed. And the other guy was filming it. And it just occurred to me these last few days, like, you know what? That was probably set up. They're probably thinking, let's clown this guy and get it on tape. Just a little thing, not something that, like, I don't want people to think that really, really fucking bothered me. There was, like, one instance where I remember I was watching that tape with some people, and it was whatever, dude. He was grabbing my arms, and I had my legs in the guard, and he was fucking slamming me on the bed. It didn't last very long, but, yeah, it just kind of occurred to me, it's like, you know what, they had the camera, and, something tells me those other two rappers kind of fucking set that up behind the scenes. And I think a lot of these friends in this kind of group were doing that kind of shit to me all the time in high school. They were fucking scheming. They were trying to figure out how to, like, knock me down a peg and fuck with me. By the way, those same two guys I was talking about, the rappers, they're the ones that stole my fucking car and went joyriding and had a big laugh about it. I let these people in my boundaries, and they tried to fuck with me as much as they possibly could. And they tried to put me down as much as they possibly could. And I didn't have that kind of consciousness in high school. It's like, okay, I just lost a couple of points socially because they're scheming. Now I got to scheme how to get those points back. I didn't think that way. And in this, like, narcissistic social standing game, I was losing badly. And there was a time, like I said, I regretted not standing up for myself better. But then more time goes on, it's like, you know what? I turned to the other cheek. I didn't really own it because I didn't really know that I was turning the other cheek. But losing these pissing matches, it didn't fucking matter. All that mattered was that life was to continue and I was to get where I am right now, today. All that matters is that I was to be to eventually become who I am now. The person they never wanted me to be. Healed, actualized, achieved, individuated. To fully develop the skills I wanted to develop and get to a point where I'm confident with it. And I can tell you that both of those guys, they're not doing jack shit with rap. That was just something they did fucking around back in the day. And of course, people acted like they were better than me back then. And I just got my song Wartime added to a Spotify playlist with 1,500 monthly listeners. And when that battle first starts, you guys, and of course social media, you start to realize that social media is just an absolute like spiritual warfare fucking battleground for you. For normal people, it's like, yeah, man, I just like post pictures of my dog and just like be normal. Social media, when I was a normie on there trying to be and staying in touch with my friends from my hometown when I was moving on to the next part of my life, it was really something for me. And of course, what it was always for me, what people were telling me is like, dude, just be more normal on social media. Don't post that kind of shit on social media. And now I post the kind of shit I used to post on social media on X. And, maybe it's not great all the time, but I get a kick out of it. It's like, yeah, I'm just spurging out on X, saying all the goofy shit that comes to mind. And, it's a thing. I'll bet there's some people that get a kick out of it. The kind of shit that people really tried to shame me very, very, very hard for a long time ago. But when that shift happens, and they're like, okay, I just gave him some shit. Here's where he tries to here's the part where he tries to make things right. And then we give him a little dog pat on the head. It's like, yeah, you're still in the bottom rungs of our group. But then all of a sudden, you know what, dude? You're saying this about me. I'm saying this about you. It's like, whoa, you can't be talking like that if you want my approval. Fuck your approval. And you're reaching beyond your level because mentally, you haven't figured out what's going on yet. It reminds me of Dragon Ball Z, where young Gohan, he had a couple of moments, like in first couple of episodes with Raditz, where he fucked Raditz up for a second. For a second, he taps into that power that he's not going to achieve for like 10 years. But you tap into it for a second, and everybody sees this power level flash. That kid's power level just flashed over 9,000! And the normies are fucking scared. And all of a sudden, this whole illusion about, oh yeah, you're cool with us, destroy him. All of a sudden, it becomes clear. They're all your fucking enemies. They're always your enemies. And you let them into your home of your boundaries, and they're fucking pissing on your furniture, and they're knocking shit over, and they're trying to sabotage you, man. They're trying to sabotage you from within your home base. But now it's different. Now you're standing across from each other, and now you're going to fucking war. It's not 101. There's 30 of them, and there's one of you. And you got a little fucking, shiv, and you didn't realize there was going to be a war like this, and war, and you do the best you can, and you flee into the fucking woods, and you survive. You're not going to win. You're not going to win, bro. These people have been plotting against you for a decade. Unconsciously, they always saw you as an enemy. You were unassuming. You were a nice guy, man. The real version of it, not the Reddit women coping about the fact that, let's be real, a lot of women just really like fucking terrible men. I think in 2026, but let's not go there. These people have been strategizing your downfall for at least 5 to 10 years. You all of a sudden are in this battle with people who have always viewed you as an enemy, and you do all right. You stand your ground, but you run into the fucking woods. And that's when the dark night of the soul will eventually begin. Because it's like, okay, I don't have any friends. I'm a pariah. My reputation has taken some damage. At least that's the way that it appears. Your reputation has taken damage in this circle of 30 people who never fucking liked you. And they might try to expand it. And yeah, they'll convince a couple of normies who, even though those normies didn't really have a problem with you, they were bad people, ultimately. And then they also don't like you because they just accept the smear campaign at face value. What I always pointed out from day one is who was in my message box, like, Jake, there's all this stuff going on, and you're in this conflict, and it seemed like you were cool with everybody, and now all of a sudden, there's all this drama. What's going on, man? What's your take? You know how many people there were for that for me? Boom. None. Not one. Not one. People that I knew for years. People that I had overnights with and partied with and grew up with. And when they hear the smear campaign about me, they accept it at face value. They don't come and get my side of the story. These people unconsciously never liked you. They never loved you. They were never really rocking with you. At best, some of them were like, this guy's a goofy guy. This guy's a jester. I like having him around because he does his little monkey dance, and yeah, he's really entertaining. He's really fun for a fucking goofball. I heard something like, he plays drums, whatever. Yeah, it's entertaining. He thinks he's gonna be a rapper. It's harmless. He's a monkey boy. Love having him around. Monkey, 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 monkey. He splashes the cymbals. He's a lot of fun. But me, I'm a serious person. This guy's a fucking goofball. But it's fun to have goofballs around. And so you get chased off into the woods after your standoff with these people. That's where you learn how to live a real life. That's where I went from being a naive guy who a lot of people talk to me like I was stupid. And man, the stuff that I regret is when people were aggressive to me and I didn't physically stand up. People talking down to me like they were smarter than me. It never really even bothered me. I was quick to be like, oh yeah, man, you're the one who reads the books and I'm the one who just parties and has fun. Hey, let's fucking chug a beer. Didn't mean anything to me. But when you get chased off in the woods, that's where you start to realize, that's where you start to learn. That's where you start to read books. That's where you start to go inward. And that's over time, over a couple of years, it's like, you know what? I feel like this is what I was always meant to be doing. And I'm making progress quick. And I kind of felt like I had a knack for certain things. Now I know that I have a knack for certain things. And what people already knew about you 5 to 10 years ago, you start learning it for the first time. You start seeing in yourself and cherishing what you have, what other people saw in you, and unconsciously, most of the time, thought, he can never realize this about himself. And it always happens this way. They think they're going to destroy you and you're going to run off into the woods and die. Like a wounded animal that bleeds out. But you go into the woods and you're fine and you develop and you do your little Rocky montage and you do your push-ups and your squats and you read. And then it takes a long time, man. For me, 5, 6, 7, 8 years go by before you resurface. And when you resurface and you're healed and you've been surviving, they're like, oh, look it's the guy who we stripped naked and tarred and feathered, and what's up, weirdo? What's up, wacko? Yeah, you don't got any friends. Nobody likes you, buddy. And it's like, hey, remember that battle we had 5, 7 years ago? Let's go again. All 30 of you versus me again. Only this time, it's a whole different fucking ball game. And they still try to do the smear campaigns, and they got better smear campaigns, and they got more weapons. And for me, this would be the last time I was in Kodiak, when I was dealing with the neighborhood watch, and I went to court, and I was getting fucking stalked and harassed, and people trying to frame me for crimes, and oh yeah, they got some hits in. I was feeling some type of way. But anybody who's really fucking paying attention from the sidelines is like, this motherfucker is in an even match with 30 people. It's like, hey man, you know this guy, he's really bad and he's really dangerous. And anybody who really has discernment is watching what's going down, and it's like, bro, this is one person versus 50 people, and he's not getting chased into the woods. This is a whole fucking different ball game. Who is this guy? What's happening here? What am I witnessing? This person's coming up to me and they're like, well, he's bad and he I think he kicked the dog once. And they're like, wait a second, that sounds like bullshit. This person's desperate. These people are desperate. This guy didn't really do shit. This is bullshit. And I remember 10 years ago when they're saying this shit, and I think that was kind of bullshit. And there's something about this guy, and none of this seems right. And that momentum only grows for you, man. That momentum only grows for you. And it just gets to a point where, you know, these people, they're probably not going to get pariahed. They're probably not going to be abandoned by their friends. But the kind of facial expression that the semi-real ones, hearing them trying to throw you under the bus and it's not working this time, they're just kind of like, dude, like, okay, yeah, like, you always want to talk about Jake, bro. Like, I don't know. He has a YouTube channel and he's doing his thing. And, bro, like, stop talking shit to me about Jake. Like, I don't fucking care. Clearly you care. You really care, bro. Like, man, the shit that he said on YouTube really fucking bothered you, dude. Like, the more you talk about this, the more it's going to be evident that you're the problem. And seeing as how there's 50 of them and there's one of you, you don't see this very often, but I feel like all of you are the fucking problem. And there's something weird going on here. And you're Rambo now. And you're fucking Rambo now, bro. And if you get to the point that I hope you guys can get to, you just no longer regret not getting these people's respect, because that's a quote that was really popular in my hometown. When I started to say things like, these people are disrespecting me, somebody would come in with, respect is earned, not given. And that begs the question, who the fuck are you? And what does your respect mean to me? And that's just, to them, that's more language of you stepping out of line, and this guy needs to be dealt with. This guy needs to be humbled. This guy needs to get the chip knocked off his shoulder. Man, I got a whole fucking pantry of Lay's on both of my shoulders at this point. And you ain't getting a single fucking chip. I want that for everybody, man. I want that for all the chuds. Because I just know that this is a thing for a lot of people. This is a thing for a lot of people, man. And you'll know that you've reached a high level when you realize, bro, these people that I used to kind of like look up to, like they were something special when I was in high school, like, oh, these are the cool people and I hope I can fit in with them and be an equal to them. You had a point where you started to realize, man, it's like I'll never be their equal. But once you level up in this Rambo journey, you get chased in the woods and you come back like, hey, let's have a rematch. And, you know, they're still doing harm to your reputation. You're still dealing with stressful shit. But all of a sudden, you're fucking swinging 10 people this way, 10 people that way. You're covered in 50 people and you are not running away. You're standing your fucking ground. And anybody who's paying attention is like, okay, when he ran into the woods the first time, it's like, yeah, he was in the wrong. But this doesn't look like he's in the wrong. This looks like this is some like King Arthur, God wills it. In the Excalibur, they get two people to fucking duel, and whoever wins has God's favor. It kind of looks like this guy's got God's favor. Because he's not going down. Not like last time. You'll realize, man, that these are just people that you're happy to be away from, and the only minuscule, minor regret that you have left, just something that's like, shucks, oh well, I'm happy with where I'm at, is that you were ever around these people to begin with. I frequently say, it's a shame I didn't grow up somewhere else. But these people have no room left in your head. And there's people out there, they're going to want to think that they're in your head. They want to think they're rent-free in your head. I've been hit with a long time. They're like, well, the fact that you're talking about it, it means they're in your head. There's a lesson to learn here. And I want to make sure that we're all on the same page, man. Like, this is what happens to real ones. And what I really don't like seeing on the internet is you're really focusing on that. Oh, it's because I'm a sub 5. It's because I'm not a Chad. These people only tolerated me because I'm neurodivergent. Bro, these people are fucking trash. And you started to level beyond them, and they did not want that for you. They wanted you to be the little jester monkey, and they'd throw you some fucking crackers, because there was a time in your life where you very clearly acted like you thought that that was the best you could get. You need to start feeling like you deserve more. The shit that people say, you're entitled. They're trying to train you to not feel like you're entitled. You are entitled. You need to be more entitled. Yeah, I do deserve good things. You need to feel like you deserve good things. You need to understand that you deserve good things, because you do deserve good things. These people are trying to fucking brainwash you, man. And it's wartime. And the battle's not over. Because after you deal with these people, okay, fuck them, they were trash. What else? I do deserve good things. And you're going to have to fight to get those things, man. Until you have what you want in life, it's wartime. So, 32 minutes. That's what I got for you guys. We're healed, baby. We're healing. We're winning. Total, complete chud victory. I will settle for nothing less. God bless you, my friends. Until next time.